Girlfriend, 26, cheated and left me, 30, and took our child, 6. My girlfriend and mother of our child have been together the last 8 years. We have a child age 6 and have lived together the last several years. I thought things were going great, but 2 weeks ago we were texting throughout the day like normal. I was at work and about 5 p.m. I got a text that said, "I love you. Just not the same as you love me. I am leaving and taking our child and you are to never see us or contact us again." I immediately rushed home and the house was cleared out, all of their belongings gone. I tried to call and text, she blocked me, and blocked me on all forms of social media. I was freaking out, confused and extremely upset. I was very worried about my daughter as well, as we are very close. The next morning I went to the local courthouse and filed some motions for my child. She contacted me shortly after and said she left because my child wanted to leave, and she refused to let me talk to her. At this point I just didn't understand because I know my child loves me and I thought she loved me. I hire a lawyer and we proceed legally. She finally contacts me and tells me she has been cheating on me since this past Christmas and is in a relationship with this man and has moved our child in with this man. I am completely shocked because I never suspected anything. How she kept up our relationship and her other one is beyond me. The thing that bothers me the most is she said she has taken our child around this man, a cop in another county, to get her comfortable around him. It bothers me severely. She has taken my child and uprooted her from everything she has known and moved her in with this man. She is going to be going to a new school this coming year as well, an hour away. I was working 60 hours a week to provide for us. I guess that's why I never caught on to anything. The advice I am seeking is, how can I move on and heal from this as an individual when I have to be in contact with her for my child? Edit. Thank you all for the feedback and comments. Just to clarify, I did hire a lawyer and I did go to the court and file a few motions and custody etc. Once she got the papers delivered, she contacted me to reach an agreement to be submitted to the court so we would not have to go to court. I went without my child for 2 weeks, but I finally seen her last weekend all weekend and everything is now okay there. My daughter is my first priority. Just asking for advice on how to move on, given the situation. Thank you guys. Did you file for custody? Is this US? Is she in the same area as you? Did your auntie ask that she be compelled to return the child? Sorry to say, but unless boyfriend is dangerous, or with proven shadiness, probably little you can do about him being around. But absent abuse, what she did is alienating and toxic and judges in US do consider that a factor in custody. Have you taken all the necessary steps to secure your custodial rights with respect to your child? If you haven't, then you're focused on the wrong thing at the moment. You keep your lawyer and the court involved. You now she can't be trusted. She contacted me to reach an agreement to be submitted to the court so we would not have to go to court. Go to court, don't let her skate by that easy. Court will expose her and she's just trying to avoid that. You can go further and ask that he has to be supervised with your child. Mom has only known him 7 months and to take a small child to someone you never met is something you can work into your favor. Contact a lawyer if you do claim you love your daughters. That should be your #1 priority, getting shared custody. Healing will come many months, years later post-divorce completion, which depending on what state you in can take years. How do I, 42F, fall back in lust with my husband, 45M, after 22 years of marriage? My husband is an incredible man. He's my best friend, my biggest supporter, an amazing husband and father. For the last few years he has done the majority of the cooking and the cleaning in our home because of our work schedules, with 0 complaints. He is fantastic with our 11-year-old daughter, takes her out skateboarding almost every night, is teaching her how to draw comics, introduces her to new music, etc. We love going on date nights and taking little trips together. We have had a very successful marriage and have been together more than half our lives. He has issues like any normal human being, mostly related to anxiety and self-esteem stemming from his childhood with an abusive father and a neurotic mother, which I continue to try to help him with. I constantly encourage him, compliment him, try to settle his nerves with optimism when he gets too focused on worst-case scenarios, and in turn he helps me with my depressive episodes in much the same way. He's the yin to my yang. We are very good at communication. We talk openly and freely and really try to listen and hear what the other has to say, and we try to use, I feel, statements rather than accusations. Well, a couple of days ago he approached me and said he was feeling unloved and unwanted. I was really taken aback by this, but he went on to explain that for the last few months, Maybe even a year. Every time he has initiated sex I have declined. I work a very physically demanding job with a lot of hours, so he brushed it off at first as me just being tired. As I listened I realized he was right. Over this time period I have initiated a few times, and given some blow jobs, but every time he tried to get me in the mood it failed. I don't know what's wrong with me. He thinks I've fallen out of love with him, but I know that's not the case. I still have all the feelings for him, but my body doesn't want to cooperate. He was in tears by the end of our conversation and I'm devastated. How can I fix this? It sounds like you have a solid relationship apart from that, so you've got a good foundation. The grass is greenest where you water it, and it sounds like you've just been putting your energy and attention into different things. Refocus some of those date nights and trips so that they are about physical intimacy rather than going somewhere. Experience each other. I think having positive sexual experiences or even getting into the habit of thinking of your husband as a potential sexual partner will help you rekindle a desire to be intimate with him. I also recommend a book called Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. There is a chapter about women's sexual brakes versus accelerators that you and your husband could both benefit from reading. This is going to be the unsexiest advice possible, but you need to schedule sex. Show him it's a priority to you. There has to be a 30-minute window somewhere in the week where you're not tired and both at home. If you still love him, have a strong marriage, and find him sexually attractive, then there has to be another reason your sex drive is low. I would go through all possible reasons and try to narrow it down. I am going to guess that you may be premenopausal based on your age. See a doctor could be changes with your hormones. Also read what you wrote. Sounds like he's been doing everything without any appreciation, at least sexually, and sounds like a great relationship without intimacy, so find out why and this might help. Unfortunately your husband feelings have been expressed and be honest with your doctor. Good luck. Morning sex. Before the day starts and you get into the day and work loads and by the end you are just not in the mood. Initiate in the morning before you both have to get out of bed. I've been in a similar long, happy marriage. What I've found is more sex begets wanting more sex. The more you do it, the more you want it. It becomes habit again. Also I picture things that stimulate me when we are just hanging out, to get myself in the mood to initiate. I think that I'm starting to have a lowing libido because of perimenopause, but this still works for me. How to get over PMS as a male. My wife gets super angry and toxic every time she's having a PMS. For example, yesterday we had an argument because I bought a big chocolate cake instead of a small one. But she clearly said that I can buy big or small. Eventually she meant a smaller one. Then she told me that I do not listen to her, that I'm selfish, that she cannot trust me. A simplest thing. The thing is she can. We've been through an operation on spite of our dog. We've moved to a different country, bought an apartment and buried our fathers together. So I assume she can trust me. I know that I'm not perfect. I can forget something important or be lazy. Especially when it comes to cleaning our house. But eventually I do it. I clean dishes, vacuum floors and do laundry. I'm the only child, so it has some impact on my character. I do not want to justify myself, but I do not know what to do. I'm thinking suicidal from time to time. My country basically in a war with its neighbor. There are a lot of layoffs in our industry. And her behavior puts me on the edge. Please help. PMS can explain feelings but will never justify reactions. It's like cheaters justifying their action because they were drunk. If you truly respect your partner, hormones won't change that. You can understand, but you don't have to accept your situation, and I would recommend having a talk with her. Yes, she can feel more sensitive. No, she doesn't have to act on it and disrespect you. Has she talked to a doctor to see if she might have PMDD? I have that and it freaking sucks, but it can be managed. PMS is an explanation, not an excuse. She can treat you with respect regardless. Clearly she doesn't want that and you don't deserve to be her victim. You deserve some who loves and respects you regardless of how they're feeling. Also, if you have suicidal thoughts, please get yourself into therapy. You should definitely talk to her when she is back to normal. Be very honest and tell her that she is really hurting your feelings. There is no way someone who loves you will not be affected by the fact that she is hurting you. I'm extremely concerned that you're suicidal. Even if it's just fleeting thoughts, please get help. If untreated, they may escalate and you deserve to live a quality life free of those thoughts. Please reach out to a crisis line or a GP doctor. I struggled with these thoughts for 8 years and I'm finally free of the burden, through therapy and the correct medication, and feel so much better. You deserve to be happy. Rooting for you. She needs to see a GYN. There is a medical condition called PMDD, which is a more serious form of PMS. It is treatable with medication. Asking my husband to get rid of his dog. His 27 male dog is a big part of who he is. She's even the reason I, 25 female, met with him in the first place, but she is a corgi and he doesn't keep up with the hair. It's fallen solely on me to take care of, or in just a few days it gets so bad it lands on my newborn regularly. I've pulled corgi hair out of his mouth multiple times and he is never on or even near the ground. She isn't allowed up on furniture either, it's just that bad. I've said so many times to brush he daily or at least every other day and he doesn't. I ask him explicitly every day to vacuum and most of the time he forgets. I don't want to be the nagging wife. I also don't want to be the woman who is growing to hate the dog she cares for because I didn't ask to. I will feed her and take her out when I do my dogs, but I didn't ask to maintain her coat. I'm also the one making and paying for her grooming appointments. He said before he can find her a home, but I know with the way he says it he will hold it over me forever. It's not like he actually plays with her much either though. If it wasn't for me I would feel she's neglected. I'm starting a log of everything he doesn't do and whether or not I prompted him each day. Is this enough to show him this isn't something I can be blamed for with getting rid of her? We have a discussion weekly about him doing more yet he never does. I need to make sure I can't be blamed for this because it's just not fair to me. I would love to read others' opinions though. My family views dogs solely as just dogs, whereas me and him view ours slightly closer to our children, so I would rather ask here. Is the corgi at home all day? I would a couple of things. 1. Send corgi to doggy daycare including grooming service once a week. 2. Buy a robot vacuum. You don't have a corgi problem, you have a husband problem. None of these issues will magically disappear once you get rid of the dog. Op. This isn't a problem with the dog, it's a husband problem. If he isn't properly taking care of his dog he is probably lacking in other areas as well. I think you need to have a heart-to-heart with him. Emphasize that he needs to take care of his dog. Dog ownership has responsibilities. The least he could do is take care of the dog's coat and pay for grooming. Perhaps he could pay for grooming more often if he doesn't want to care for the dog. If he keeps neglecting his own pet, then it should be rehomed. You're married, right? I don't understand this. Your dog's my dog's business. You guys married, share a home, share dog ownership. Is your husband lazy? Sure, sounds like it. But does the dog need to be rehomed because it sheds? You say you view your dogs more as children, but would you rehome a child that is messier than your other kids? Probably not. If he's this bad at taking care of his dog, I worry about when you aren't available and he needs to take care of the baby.